Do I have any game recommendations? Yes, and I'll do you one better. I'll do a full review of all the games I've been playing recently, because that way I can keep deducting them from my taxes. Cue the royalty-free TikTok music. First we have Astrobot, a game that's so good I 100%ed it. This is just a fantastic platformer. It feels like a Mario game, but, like it's done by Sony. It's just a good mascot platformer. What can I say? The controls were tight, the levels were great, the characters were cute, I loved collecting the reference bots. I mean, who remembers Wild Arms? No, you don't. Stop lying. I would give it a near-perfect score, except if you want to 100% it, you need to grind for coins. It's not that bad. There are some easy grinding points, but I really would have liked it if the coins basically synced up with when the game was complete, but that's a minor gripe at best. If you have a PS5, I highly, highly recommend it. This is a game that is well worth it. And if you don't, well, I guess there's always the next Mario game. This next one I really wanted to like, but ended up not. This is The Plucky Squire. The general idea is that you're a character from a children's book, and you can come out of the book into the real world to do platforming and adventure game stuff, and that's cool. The problem is it holds your hand way too much. It basically tells you the solution to every puzzle. It also forces in some really unfun stealth sections. There's also a ton of mini games in it, and while that's kind of neat, it's neat that they would want to vary up the gameplay. They don't give you anything, and there's an option to skip them, just by pressing a button. And by the end of the game, I was so bored, I was skipping every single mini game I came across. I mean, at least it was a budget title, but, could have been better, 6 or 7 out of 10. Speaking of games that were big disappointments, Visions of Mana. Hoo boy. I am a big fan of the Mana series. I'm a big fan of JRPGs in general, if you couldn't tell by my username. Visions of Mana is one of those games that could probably get by on its gameplay if its story wasn't just so bad. It is the most paint-by-numbers fantasy story ever. It's just, let's sacrifice some people to some magic thingy, the religion, the same story that we got in Final Fantasy X, and Tales of Symphonia, and really every other JRPG in existence. And it looked like it was gonna subvert it for a second, but it just never did. And it's so boring. The combat's kind of neat. The fact that there are a ton of different classes that every character can be swapped into is really cool. Except, even though they say there's a ton, there are really only 3 for each character, and they're kind of palette swapped from there. Every character has a DPS class, a damage class, and a tank class, and it's just, that's about it. And there are so many invisible walls. It says it's an open world where you can go anywhere and do anything, but it's just so restrictive. I couldn't complete this one. 5 out of 10 at best. Now here's a really interesting one. UFO 50 is a new game made by the creator of Spelunky. Action 52 and all those other Chinese bootleg cartridges that would give you a ton of games, and most of them were crap? Well, this one gives you a ton of games, and a lot of them are actually good. But aside from giving you 50 games, there's a meta plot here, and I think that's the coolest part of UFO 50. The games tell a story of a fictional software development company that made games from 1982 to 1989, and then mysteriously closed. And as you play the games, you find hints to this, darker meta-plot backstory. Soon you start entering terminal commands, and you start digging through the files, not the actual files on your hard drive, but the files in the file system of the game. And you start unearthing just a ton of interesting lore. It's an escape room type puzzle, but all the clues are 50 full games, and I think that's awesome. I'm already knee-deep in the ARG for this game. I highly, highly recommend it. It's $10. Give it a shot. Now, these next 2 games aren't new, but I recently heard of them, and I think they're great. Have you ever heard of the games made by System Erasure? There's 2 of them, Zero Ranger and Void Stranger, and on the surface, it's just a shoot-'em-up and a Sokoban-style puzzle game. But beneath the surface, these are all big puzzle games, big grand puzzle games that all revolve around some sort of time loop. They are basically like the Outer Wilds if the Outer Wilds was put on Game Boy. And both of the games are connected. They share a world, they share a story. It's really great. I have dumped literally hundreds of hours into both of these games, and there's still stuff I'm figuring out about, like, the lore and the gameplay. Plus, they've been updated with free DLC, like, multiple times, so there's always more stuff to do. If you like uncovering, like, grand mysteries wrapped up in the guise of a different game, both of these games are for you. Get Void Stranger and Zero Ranger. They're amazing. Finally, I've been playing the new shooter MOBA hybrid Deadlock, and I gotta say, I really like it. I was a little skeptical to start, but I've been really addicted. If you're only looking for a shooter, you probably won't like this. This is a MOBA, so that means that you could lose on stats alone. But if you have that MOBA mindset, it's just a joy to play. And I personally love the aesthetic of it all. Like, the idea of, like, mafia-centric New York mixed with the occult, that is super cool, and that appeals directly to my sensibilities. That being said, the game is in pre-alpha. Like, it is not balanced, and there is still a lot that's gonna change. And if you are okay with that, if you're okay with the fact that this game is not done yet, and you just want to try it out, hit me up. I'll give you a Steam invite. But I do think that this will be big. And, I mean, hey, winning a game or two of Deadlock does a great job of boosting my confidence after I lose a ton of games of League of Legends. Did I mention that my friends are playing League again? Yeah. Oh, and before I go, I guess I need to shout out the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, because, I mean, these games have always been great. They're not really new, but they're great. I've mostly been playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I've also been dipping into Marvel 1 and X-Men vs. Street Fighter and stuff like that. It's a great time if you haven't played these games, or if you don't, know how to use Fightcade, or if you just want, like, a really solid, like, official version of these games. I mean, it's great. It's $50, so you may not want to spend $50 on it, but it's great. And those are the video games I've been playing recently. Coming up soon is going to be the new Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and then Metaphor, that fantasy game made by the Persona team. And then there's going to be a ton of new games coming out around, the holidays. So stay tuned, and I'll review a couple more.